If Vinny joins Arsenal, how long are we giving it before the English media start getting onto him and giving him the Pogba treatment? I'm saying the first international break in September, and the whole discourse will be, are dancing celebrations disrespectful to the opposition? Is it arrogance? I can just see the headlines already. And then when you mix that in with the standard Arsenal hate, as you do, we could be seeing record-breaking Ballon d'Or levels of hate.
If Vinicius Jr. was to come to Arsenal, how long until the media turned against him? Now, this isn't a video about Vinicius Jr. It's not a video about Arsenal. This transfer may never happen. It's about the implication. It's about the fact that we know if this were to happen, everything he just said would happen.
The audience was chanting mono towards Vinny.
So this is a video that I'm doing specifically for my American friends who keep getting gaslit from people from Europe that say that racism doesn't exist here. It's an import from the United States, that we don't have these identity issues. So this is Formula One fans greeting Lewis Hamilton. This is Vinny Jr. This is the Brazilian athlete that was called a monkey by half a stadium of Valencia fans. He was sent off with a red card because he didn't react gracefully towards it. Throughout the season, Real Madrid raised 8 complaints with La Liga because of the racist treatment that he has been receiving, and nothing was done against the clubs.
There's so much historical context to how black players are treated in the media. I mean, you can cross-reference it to the fact that today, black people are viewed as heathens or aggressive, wild, disrespectful, when we were the ones that were enslaved and abused and raped.
What do you think of black people?
I don't like them.
Why?
I really don't. Because I just think that they're always looking out to make trouble.
Come on, Jim, let's get right up there.
Better turn around, Yum. Don't come back! Don't come back! Don't come back! It is the new boy running with that.
We were riding down this block, and these white people start saying, "Get out of here, niggas. You know, get out of my neighborhood. Don't come to this neighborhood." And then they start hitting on her.
Throwing rocks and everything else.
Throwing rocks. Because we were in their neighborhood.
We went on a bike hike to McDonald's. We didn't mean to bother anybody.
We had a nice
We saw a parade, we saw a gathering, so we went down there to see what was happening. I never even know people around here were like that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
And I was sure what she had. It hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right dead in his face.
But they are the ones who are being critiqued for being arrogant and disrespectful.
Vinicius Jr. flew over a bunch of his family from Brazil, super arrogant, set up 2 parties, one in Paris after the event, like booked a place, organised it, one in Madrid for when he returned home as the number 1. Nike, who have a part to play in this, have released a boot, a Ballon d'Or boot for Vinicius. I mean, the arrogance is off the scale. I actually think he should now be disqualified forever. The arrogance, Gary, is so outrageous. And then you see Rod.
The arrogance is so outrageous.
And this guy over here, Tony Padilla, who's a commentator in Spain, when reflecting on the abuse that Vinny received, said that we must condemn racism, but Vinny's not innocent. Because Vinny is aggressive. He taunts them. So you see, half and half, who's to blame?
You know, a lot of the discussion around black culture today, it doesn't move me. You know, the whole black fatigue movement, boring. It's just another excuse to be racist against black people, because there was once a time where black people were inherently Christian. Like I always say, we adopted the ways of the white man. But yet we were still demonized and viewed as less than human. So what does that tell me? It doesn't really matter what we do.
Because as every black person knows, the more polite we are, the less racist they are to us. Right? Let me tell you a little story. I used to work for the compliance department of a very important international bank. And because of my language skills, I used to be sent around Europe. One day I found myself in Barcelona, sitting with several lawyers. And when they were discussing local politics, one said, "You know, the mayor of this town just cares about the little N-words that sell stuff on the street." I almost choked in my drink. I was so stunned that I couldn't speak. But do you think that anyone around me flinched? Even flinched? No. So yeah, not a bug, a feature.
When everything is going great, it's great. And they love us. We are the best athletes on the planet. It's just a fact. All of a sudden we're British. All of a sudden we're Spanish. All of a sudden we're American. All of a sudden we're Portuguese. But as soon as it goes wrong, it gets dark.
This is the reason I cannot support England. And the media is the main reason. They are encouraging racism. They're throwing down everyone's face. And it's been going on for so many years. I'm grateful to the country, having lived there for 22 plus years. But I've seen enough in the last decade to know they will remind you that you are not from here. Every time something goes bad. Bukayo Saka, what has this young man done to you? He played 25 minutes yesterday. Saka there, Saka there, Saka there, Saka there, Saka there. Yeah? And this is the problem. Yeah? For the last few months, TalkSport, Sky Sports, BT, they talk about build around Foden, Harry Kane is a star man, blah, blah, blah. But when they lose, why are you using this young black man's photo? Didn't even start the game. Cole Palmer played. Phil Foden played. Harry Kane played. I even saw them trying to start an agenda of the young boy Kobe Mainoo. He's a teenager. Saka, when he was a teenager, he missed a penalty at the Euros alongside Rashford and Jadon Sancho. And you saw what happened after that game. Comments filled with racism.
But because in sports there are winners and losers, it could be going right for us and wrong for you. And we'll see it then as well. And it's so weird to me because a sport like football, it's a global sport. Every team pretty much has black players, but you will have these fans who, in their hatred, will be racially abusive to a black player on the opposite team, but when the black player on their team scores a goal, they celebrate and scream their name. It's very, very strange. I look at some of these football clubs. Some of their best players ever were black. My club in particular. But yet within the fan base, you have racists. How?
Do you remember after England lost to Italy in the penalties when Sancho, Rashford, and Saka were just racially abused for days? Well, I do. And with the Euros happening again this summer, if there's one thing I wish that the young black players on the England national team will have, I want them to have the same energy as Vinny Jr. If you don't know what happened, Vinicius Jr., who plays for Real Madrid, was racially abused by 3 Real Madrid fans, and they were sentenced yesterday. They will all be going to jail for 8 months. And in the aftermath, he made this statement. I'll read the one that's in English because I can't read Portuguese. Many asked me to ignore it. Many others said that my fight was in vain and that I should just play football. But as I've always said, I am not a victim of racism. I am a tormentor of racists. This first criminal conviction in the history of Spain is not for me, it's for all black people. Many other races be afraid, ashamed, and hide in the shadows. Otherwise, I'll be here to collect. Thank you for La Liga and Real Madrid for helping me with this historic conviction. More to come. And with England's 1-0 loss to Iceland last week, I saw all of these headlines. But the thing is, Saka only played for 25 minutes in that game, and yet he received all of this hate. While there were other players who played for the entire game, had multiple shots that were nowhere near the goal and were nowhere near any of this press coverage. But then Saka, who played for 25 minutes, gets all of the blame.
Oftentimes, this racism is obvious. If you want to see it though, right? You can be oblivious. I always say sometimes I like to live in oblivion, okay? I'm not going through a phone. I'm not doing none of that, man. I'm walking around like this. And that's what they do with racism. The gaslighting.
Why is the game stopped? It looks like 25 said something to him, which Vinny clearly did not like. I wonder what you could have said. It was a racist remark. How do you know that? Because 25 covered his mouth with his shirt before saying something. I don't know about you, but the only reason I'll do that is so cameras can't lip read what I said. But that doesn't prove it was racist. Look at the reaction speed of Vinny and Mbappe to when 25 covered his mouth and said something. Whatever it was, wasn't pleasant. Enough for Vinny to go to the ref and report it. So why don't we ask 25 himself? Because he's going to tell us the truth of what happened, isn't he? In fact, he just told Mbappe he doesn't remember what he said, but it wasn't racist. So he doesn't remember what he said, but what he doesn't remember he knows isn't racist. Come on now. Have you seen the tweet Benfica put out? They're basically saying that it's impossible for Vinny to understand what 25 said. Well, that's an interesting choice of angles, isn't it? Don't forget we were just at the game. They were COVID proximity close to each other. Vinny could be lying. Yes, Vinny could be lying. The same Vinny that's the one of, if not the most targeted players in world football, with numerous accounts of targeted racism towards him, including accounts where people have been imprisoned for it. We still need to know what 25 said. Killian just said he heard the word mono repeatedly. For my non-Spanish speaking friends, mono means monkey. And let me tell you, as a black individual, being called a mono is the furthest thing from a compliment. And I should know, because it has happened and happens to me all the time. I feel so sorry for Vinny. And to all the other kings and queens that have had to go through this nonsense, because let me tell you, this isn't just a one-time thing. The same thing that Saka, Sancho and Rashford had to go through in the Euros final. Why is it that they're black British when they're succeeding, scoring goals to get us to the final, but as soon as they mess up, the word British just goes on a vacay? Same thing that Semengo went through against Liverpool at the start of the season. Same thing that Osimhen went through with Napoli, his own club, making TikToks about him and dressing up and calling him a coconut. Dani Alves at Barcelona when bananas being thrown at him. And with the World Cup around the corner, let's not forget how the Argentinians were singing on that bus ride when Messi beat France. So racism's still in the beautiful game, huh? And don't let the media change the narrative. Vinny didn't get booked because of his dancing, but because he pointed to the name of the back of his shirt and Nicholas Oatmeals and 25 didn't like it. But let's pretend for a hot second it's because of his dancing. So why is it when Jamie Vardy does it, it's shithousery, and when Vinny does it, it's provoking? The same Mourinho, by the way, that said you have to respect the stadium that you're in and celebrate with respect. But Mourinho celebrated like this, and like this. Nice narrative change, man. I mean, that's what he's the best at anyways. If you put as much effort into changing narrative as football, he would have won something at Tottenham and not got sacked days before a cup final. What's the point of UEFA's say no to racism campaigns when it's clearly still in the game? I don't know. But all I can say is, baila Vinny, baila mas. But to UEFA, are we still saying yes to racism, or are you actually going to do something about it? Rather than the ChatGPT statement saying that you don't condone racism by the social media admin of the UEFA account.
Oh, don't take it that seriously. I hate that shit, man. When people try to tell us how we should feel, that infuriates me more than anything. We are gaslit into believing that this thing isn't happening. And if you speak about it, you're a part of the problem. You're causing too much controversy. There's too much noise around your name.
Would you walk off the pitch if you were abused in the coming season?
Sim, no clube agora a gente sempre conversa mais, né? As pessoas estão mais abertas em conversar sobre isso. E não só eu, como todos os jogadores, que se acontecer na próxima vez, todo mundo tem que sair de campo para que todas aquelas pessoas que nos insultarem têm que pagar uma pena muito maior.
In reality, they like the acceptable black athlete, the one who's humble, right? The one who comes and one of my favorite players, Bukayo Saka. Humble, quiet. They love that, man. They love that.
I feel like as a black athlete, you're expected to be like modest and humble.
For sure.
You're expected to be the like LeBron James archetype. Like you never get in trouble. You never say anything that's like bad to the
And they still hated on him.
It's my theory that Vinny lost because of his individual behavior and character and how he's perceived in the media.
Do you think it was more character or more race? Marca, which is the biggest newspaper in Spain, was saying how in Brazil, they're seeing this potentially through a lens of racism. Por ser negro, tienes que ser el doble de buenos. You know, to be black, you have to be twice as good to get what you deserve, sort of thing.
Why is it that we're always expected to be like the most humble and quiet person in the room? Soccer is a competitive sport. We're supposed to be hyped. When Real Madrid scores on Barcelona, we want to see Vinny go to the fans and be like, what's up? Like, we're here. But for some reason, if you're black and you're successful, you're not supposed to be confident. Confidence is always mistaken for arrogance.
Could you imagine if there was a black version of Zlatan? He'd get crucified. Jack Grealish, after winning the treble, passed out drunk. Just in a bender with the boys. Raheem Sterling buys his mother a house. He's arrogant, flexing. We look at Caitlin Clark, for example. She hit Angel Reese and them with the "You Can't See Me." It's just competitive. It's the game. We love it. Angel Reese hits her with one of these after she's about to win the chip. Now there's all this media criticism to the point where Caitlin Clark herself has to come out and say, nah, I don't think she should be criticized. I don't think Angel Reese should be criticized. It's just basketball. But it's not just basketball.
It's this thing that if, say, a coloured person mugs somebody, it's read in the papers as black boy mugs white girl or something, or whatever he does. But if it's a white person, it doesn't say white boy, and that's not pushed home to you the same way.
We see this in the media when a white man kills his entire family. The first picture we see is of a loving family. Oh my God, these people are so nice. How could this happen? We have to start talking about mental health. In the UK, I believe it was a Liverpool parade. Man drove into the parade. If that was a Muslim, they'd say that's a terrorist attack. They didn't because he was white.
This is Paul Doyle. He's a successful businessman, a triathlete, a father of 3, and now he's charged with ploughing into a crowd in Liverpool. What happened to Paul Doyle? 53-year-old Paul Doyle from West Derby was arrested after a terrifying incident during Liverpool's victory parade. He drove a grey Ford Galaxy into a packed crowd after following an ambulance through a police cordon. 79 people were injured. 4, including the child, were trapped underneath his car and had to be rescued. At first, this looked like a case of attempted murder, but now he's being charged with grievous bodily harm, attempted grievous bodily harm, and dangerous driving. No attempted murder. Why? But here's where it gets interesting. Doyle's an ex-Royal Marine. He's travelled the world, Japan, India, Fiji, and even climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. A decorated triathlete. Has a 4-bedroom detached house. On paper, he has it all. But could PTSD be a factor? Some witnesses say people were banging on his car before he accelerated. Was it panic? Was it a flashback? Could this be a trauma response from his military past? Should the charges be harsher? Or is there more to this than meets the eye? PTSD? Panic? Or something darker? Let me know what you think in the comments. The plot is only just starting to unfold.
Drove his car through the Liverpool victory parade. Well, he has been sentenced today. Today, 54-year-old ex-Royal Marine Paul Doyle has been sentenced to 21 years and 6 months in prison. The incident in question happened at the Premier League celebration. Thousands of fans had gathered in the streets of Liverpool. And on that day, Paul Doyle deliberately drove his car into the crowd. Paul was even seen shouting from inside of the car as the crowd screamed to get away. Police and prosecutors have confirmed that his actions are not terror-related, but rather more driven by rage and loss of control. Also described the attack as entirely intentional. More than 100 people were injured when he plowed his car into the crowd. This includes children, babies in prams, as well as elderly fans. Some victims will have lifelong injuries, as well as suffering from the trauma of something like this happening. If this happened to me, I would be scared to go into crowds for the rest of my life. Doyle did plead guilty to the serious charges, which include dangerous driving, grievous bodily harm, and affray. This case truly shows how you need to control yourself in moments of extreme anger. Hundreds of people affected by this case. My thoughts go out to all of them and anyone else affected.
The unfortunate truth is this. We live in a capitalistic society. In a capitalistic society, racial hierarchies will always exist. White people at the top, black people at the bottom. Sports, the professional sports industry, is an industry within a capitalistic society. So those racial hierarchies will always exist. The media isn't protecting individuals. It's not what it's about. It's about protecting the league. It's about protecting the clubs. It's about protecting the sponsors, the audience, and the reputation of these white European nations. So, how long until the media turns on Vinicius Jr.? The September international break sounds about right.
This liquor got me in my zone. Now I'm blowing up your phone. Blowing weed, smoking the ozone. I just can't let this go. This liquor got me